Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Wednesdays with Wynton. My name is Madeline. I am the PR manager at Jazz Lincoln Center, and thank you for joining us for another Wednesdays with Wynton, a casual IG Live Q&A with Mr. Wynton Marsalis. Wynton will be joining us in just a moment, so if you want to go ahead and start asking any questions in the comments, go ahead and I'll try to get to as many as possible. And while we're waiting for Wynton to come in, go ahead, comment your name, where you're tuning in from, any music you've been listening to. Maybe some other people can get some nice recommendations. And as always, since it is Wednesday, I want to remind you that we have our next video from the Vault at Jazz Lincoln Center's YouTube page we released. And this is a full concert from May of 2019. It's the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra featuring the incomparable jazz organist Joey DiFrancesco, Big Band B3. It's a really amazing concert. I highly suggest it. Really soulful, really spiritual. So you can check that out on our YouTube page. So Wynton will be joining us in just a second. So if you can hold on and we'll start this Q&A. Hi, Wynton.
Hey, now.
How's it going?
Good. What you talking about, Madden?
Well, I was just talking about our From the Vault video, which was from 2019 May. It was the great Joey DiFrancesco and the JLCO, the Big Band B3. And what's so great about this concert, other than it being a really soulful, spiritual concert, is that on trumpet we had Gifton Jellin, who obviously is a student of yours from Juilliard. And I thought we can kind of kick things off today talking about, obviously, in jazz music and really any music and in humanity, it's so important to foster young talent, young musicians, young people. So I thought if you can kind of talk a bit about your experience coming up in the jazz world, your mentors, and full circle now, what it's like to be a mentor.
Well, first I want to say about Gifton. Gifton just unbelievable trumpet player with a very personal sound, also just deeply soulful young man. And I first met him, I don't know, he's 12 or 13, very young. Just he has an album called True Design. If you can go online and check it out, or you can get it, check his playing out. He's the type of person who can change the feeling in a room with the weight and feeling of his sound. And I think that, when I was young, I was always around the musicians, my father, and all the great jazz musicians who would come through New Orleans. And even though at that time I wasn't a fan of jazz, the music, I liked the music everybody liked in my age group. I loved them as people. And they were always funny and witty. And they were always inviting and down home. Even the ones who were mean were still kind of had their own way. They were nice. Like Eddie Lockjaw Davis was somebody you didn't play with. So, but even Lockjaw, he had such a deep personality, and he was such a profound person. And I've been very fortunate in my life to have many great mentors of all kinds, and to play with great musicians and to listen to them and be told things by them. And I also have played with a lot of great musicians that are my contemporaries and many younger musicians. And whenever I have the chance, or any of us have the opportunity to embrace them and bring them into our feeling, of course, we do that, because it just, as you get older, the more you have more funny experiences with musicians. Because at one point you're teaching them things, but then at another point, they teach you a lot. So, I love Gifton, though. He's a beautiful sound.
Well, everyone can go check him out. I'm sure he has a lot of videos on YouTube as well. Really great player, and you can check him out playing on our From the Vault concert today if you go to YouTube/Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to mention the great Hermeto Pasca, who just turned 84. He contributed so much to jazz and Brazilian music. And, Hamilton de Holanda, Dan Nimmer, and Carlos Enriquez did a video tribute for his birthday. Talk a bit about Hermeto and what he means to you in music.
Well, Hermeto, they call him a universal musician. He's a genius. And he plays, if you just look him up and look at the number of instruments he plays, that's going to tell you all you need to know. And when we opened the House of Swing in 2004, Hermeto was part of our opening series of concerts. Is endlessly creative. He's coming up with all kinds of tunes, unbelievably sophisticated sense of harmony, progressions, melodic, just the spirit around him of just deep spirituality, originality. And Hamilton and Dan and Carlos were playing this tune when we were in Brazil. I'm not going to mispronounce the name of it, but it's an unbelievable song, just very sophisticated. And Hermeto writes everything from little ditties and stuff that somebody could be whistling on the street to some of the most sophisticated music. Just a kind of a seer and a person who sees into the future and the past at the same time. And an incredible range of music, of virtuosity, of musical virtuosity, not tied to an instrument. He's played more instruments than he can make anything into an instrument. He even played a pig as an instrument once. And he's somebody that's very, very important in the world of music and important to know. One of the great thinkers and great creative forces of icon in Brazil, of Brazilian music, but really belongs to the world. You know, it's not just, his music transcends the spirit of place. It just goes, yeah, we all love him. He's just a spirit.
That's such a thing to say about someone too. You know, it's to transcend the spirit of the world. Speaks a lot to who someone is.
And I'm saying less than what he is. You know, we got to get Hamilton on here to talk about him and, you know, play some of his music. I wish I could play some of his music. He's fantastic.
If everyone has some time to go check out and to honor the great Hermeto Pasca, he has a lot of music you can check out. So if you want to just take some time to find some solace and talking about solace, you had this really great interview in the New York Times today and talking about the 10 things that have been on your mind, kept you going through the difficult times. You know, among those, it was Beauty of Jazz, Justice for George Floyd, Real Solutions, Frederick Douglass and William Yates. Wondering if you can, you know, those who haven't read the piece yet, tuning in right now, talk about some of those things, what they mean to you.
Well, you know, you have some things that are touchstones. Generally, they are things that tend to be from the past. And then you have things that you're engaged with right now. That tends to be things that you are doing and just like your contemporaries. Then you have things that you're looking way into the future on. Like an example would be just the conversation we've had. Like Gifted, it makes me smile just to think about him, yeah, because of who he is. And it could be a lot of our great younger musicians that we have a lot of them that can really play, and I love what they do. We've been online talking with them. It could be Riley or Joe Block. It doesn't, you know, it's a crew that always makes me feel kind of happy about what's going on. Alexa, and, Gifton and Anthony Hervey and Jonah Moss and Philip, they're all like younger than the age of my older kids. They're all early 20s, kind of 20s. So then you have your contemporaries, like I just saw Spike Lee's film, The Five Bloods, and Terrence Blanchard wrote a masterful soundtrack. So I could to just a bit to tell him, yeah, man, I dug what you were doing, and I heard what you were doing, and we've known each other since the 1970s, 1972 or 73, and then you have people that are way out in, like, I've been looking at Martin Luther King's last speech in the National Cathedral. I talked about that one. I also read, I didn't look at it, but I'm going to look at it. I read Lyndon Johnson's 1965 speech called "We Shall Overcome." There's this subtitle that they call it that, because in that speech he says, "We shall overcome." And just the power of a kind of president from the South saying the things that he said. So those are touchstone things. And then you have things that are epical like that. That's like Frederick Douglass. That's like some just timeless thoughts of humanity that you can just go back and to speak on meeting the author of the book, David Blight, and just to see him and Jeff Ward talk. And then there's Hermeto, which is a force of nature from the cosmos, you know, just on Earth. So to have a range of things that you can, it helps you to understand. Or even when we did our gala, to see Chucho playing the piano, and I think about that. My father told me in the early 70s he had first heard about Irakere from Cuba. And no, we didn't want hip to Cuba back at that time. He was like, man, this band from Cuba named Irakira, he was listening to their music. He was co-signing and talking about it. Man, this dude can play Chucho. And then to see Chucho, they sent me a picture of him and my father. And the picture was so soulful. And I was thinking back, looking at the two of them, I think my daddy was playing and Chucho was just sitting next to him, listening to him. And just the humanity in it. And I just think in a circular way about it, how when I first heard of Chucho, of course, now to know Chucho, great master that he is, and also the kind of similar kind of heart that Chucho got a lot of heart. And it's very, he just soul drips off of him. He's a person that's very, he's in that number of the angels on earth, And all those kind of things help you. And yeah, it was fun doing that interview too with the Times.
And can you speak a little bit of, I really, what resonated with me specifically was the talking about real solutions and real actions. And it's things that you've been talking about your entire career, but specifically right now, like even, Supreme Court passing that important, you can't be discriminated against if, just because if you're part of the LGBTQ community. Right. So if you can talk a little bit more about real solutions, what we can do now, be part of the democracy.
Well, I think it's important for us to understand where the power is, what is the federal power and what is the local power. And these are not complicated concepts. They are, but it's important for us to, as citizens, to be engaged. It's important for us to get our eyes on it and not go with propaganda. So the Supreme Court passed two things, and then one they didn't comment on. Or they said, we're not going to hear. And the thing that's interesting about what they weren't going to hear is that the two judges on the extreme, Sotomayor and Clarence Thomas, both said, we need to look at it. And the rest of the court said, no, we don't need to look at it. And that was the very subject that the entire nation is out in the street protesting. And that is qualified immunity. So we have to be engaged. Okay, they don't have to look at that because it's something that's really a local issue. But every signal, if the whole nation is out in the street talking about it, then you hit us with two very flashy, and important decisions, both of which I agree with 100%. But over here, we protested, and here this slides up underneath the door with no comment. It's like, so you got to watch stuff, and you just have to realize that you have opposition. It's not just everybody doesn't agree on this stuff. And democracy is about the back and forth in the battle. And to always remember, you don't have to have democracy. Right. A military might is, somebody can beat you, you lost. So to understand how to nurture that ground and the importance of the political solution and the importance of being engaged in the democracy and studying those local cards, getting involved with your local politics on the state and the city level, and deal with your council members and talking. It's things I need to do. So I'm not talking to people. I'm talking to myself.
And vote. Everyone go out there and vote too. Obviously, it's so important.
Yeah, voting is one thing. It's the easiest thing we can do. Yep. Stand on the line and vote. Yes, we can. That's easy. Even in the places where it's being made impossible to vote. Make it. The harder it is to vote, the more determined you have to be to vote. But get engaged. Even talking about it, because I know at this time people are telling me, "Man, I'm tired of hearing about this politics. I'm tired of talking." And hey, sometimes I get tired of hearing about stuff too. But this is what we're supposed to be about. Like I might be tired of it, but am I tired of? Am I too tired of hearing about it to want to see equal employment, to see the end of ghettos, to see a vision where everybody can participate in enormous wealth? Am I so tired of hearing about it that I want to abdicate my position and speaking about it for other people so we can all enjoy something? It's like you have to have a concept of your family doing well and mine not doing well means we aren't doing well. It's like being in a band with a sad rhythm section. You guys, man, I'm playing my part. I'm no. If the rhythm section is not right, we are not right.
It's a great way to put it. And for people to, it's that concept to get, even if you're playing right and you're doing, you have to make sure that everyone is playing right and you're all together with that.
Right.
And I want to ask, I saw a question pop up talking about playing with people when shows were still going on, as they will in the future, of course, again. Do you ever get superstitious or have any superstitions before a big performance? Is there anything that you have to do?
No, I just got to put this brace on my back so that my arthritis doesn't kill me. I always laugh at Ryan when we get up on the stage. I said, no, it's only two things that I'm most nervous about is, can I get up on the stage? And do we have a flight the next day? So I'm not really superstitious about it. I mean, no, I mean, it's been a blessing to play.
Well, and even on Skane's Domain this past Monday, you had a bunch of the JLCO members on. It was so great. I always have so much fun watching you all interact and talk with each other. And you've known each other for so long in varying levels of things. You must miss them so much. Yeah,
I miss them. And we all do that kind of where we talk to each other because we work on each other's music. I mean, we've had, we have a certain type of way back and forth. It's not always pleasant, but and it's also just a mutual respect. And of all the years of playing gigs under different circumstances and the pressures and also the ages everybody is at this time, bands fluctuate. They come up and they come down.
Yeah.
And for the older of us, we've been doing it a long time. Our older members, most of them are deceased. Joe Templey being gone, and the earlier members who were in the band, Jimmy Hamilton and Clark Terry, our mentors and the people we love. And now we see the younger ones coming up like Chris and Carlos. They're young compared to us, and the kind of way, the pride they have with it and what they do with it. And even our younger ones going into the 30s, like with Camille, and having to have Camille and Walter on the call at the same time, because Camille came in because Walter was in China, and now Walter is coming out, and Camille is not going to be in the band, but still the spirit of her and what she has and what she brings to the band. And there's going to be all kind of other things for her to do in the leadership position she will be in. And what it is, it's how natural it is, and we don't have to. Kenny is talking all the things, the years we worked on stuff in 1994, 95. Marcus, and Ryan. I mean, we're in touch with each other. Ted, we were talking about arthritis yesterday.
It's no joke. It's no joke. You gotta laugh, but
it's not a joke if you have it. It's something you don't realize you're ever gonna have. It's very simple, but it's very complicated. And just kind of how we tease each other about we can't see the music or whatever it is. And I mean, it's a blessing. And they all are so serious, and they're serious. So even on gigs or when something goes wrong, people are serious. They're like, man, I don't know how that gig felt to y'all, but Carlos will be the first one calling me, hey, Papa, did you really look at this set list? Or just the attention to detail. Cats people are serious. They're for real.
And as you mentioned, you have this great, respect and relationship with these musicians, as you do with many musicians outside the JLCO too. What would be your suggestion for any musicians tuning in right now on how to find other musicians to connect with and to jam with and to play with? And maybe what when when you connect with someone, but maybe how the steps in doing that.
Create space. It's like with any person. I had a lot of brothers, right? When growing up, it was like 6 of us, and one of our brothers was autistic, so he would be doing all kind of stuff like banging his head into walls, and we never. We were kids. We were like, so first I would be teasing my mom about something is wrong with my brother. And then it was something we'd never heard of called autism. And it's hard to explain. Like the space in the house became different. It was always, me and my brother were in a room. There's 3 of them in another room. So it was, but just the kind of, over time you learn you have to want to create space. It's like wanting to create wealth for other people. I'll never forget one time I was complaining about some food we had. This was a long time. We were struggling in our family. We had a couple of hard years. And it was something on my plate. I'm 13 months younger than my brother Branford, my older brother. and I was complaining about I wanted more of something. So my brother took some off of his plate and he put it on my plate, like as a joke. But it was, and then when he put it on my plate, he looked at me and said, "Now we have more." So I never forgot. I mean, I was like maybe 8 or 9, and he was 10, or, you know, and we were in that age, and we laughed about it. I don't even know if I ate it. I might have got mad because I didn't want to take it from him. But I never forgot the analogy of him just saying, if sometimes more means you have less.
Wow.
And then there's more. So we have trouble with that, you know, as a philosophy. And I think with our band, the one thing that's really different is we create space for each other. And at first it was hard.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. You might solo twice. You may solo one time in the night. You may not solo. And, you know, you worked hard on your soloing. And, you know, you have your arrangement. It used to always be hard in rehearsals. Me, I have to be hollering and screaming and cussing to get people's attention and, you know, all of this. But now once we start playing each other's arrangements, see, when you stand in front of the band and you got to cuss and scream for 20 minutes to get people to pay attention, it's very different. After we got through all those arrangements, there's no cussing and screaming and all of that. Everybody is, you know, everybody's helping because it's their space.
Make space.
Yeah. And I think also the honesty that we deal with each other with sometimes, you know, but we also have right of ways. Like if you arrange a composition, you have the right of way. Like Dan Nimmer, Dan is the nicest person in the world. We always say, but me and Ali had a bet one time about Dan. I said, if I tell Dan to change this section, he's not going to change it. So I said, Dan, I think you should take this 3/4 section and put it in. He said, no, 3/4. You know, he don't even entertain it. No, 3/4. Oh, you know, the different things we know we have. When we work with each other, we all have to. We all work out. We work out our things, and you know, the arranger, the composer, they have the right of way, and we're going to play it the way they want it to be played.
And that's respect. That's great. Respect and space and caring.
Yeah, you learn to respect through doing it, not through saying you're going to do it.
Right.
You know, like there's another thing between me and Marcus Prenoff. He always wants to play like something that has a backbeat on it, but he knows. I played so much backbeat music when I was in high school. I'm always like, man, no backbeat. He'll be like, backbeat. But, you know, that's part of just of the respect. It's his arrangement. He wants it to be played that way. That's the way. Let's play it.
That's a beautiful thing. And I saw an interesting question come through asking, have you ever thought about playing music with or playing music for people that are incarcerated?
I have done that, and yes, I want to get a project of teaching the spirituals and the choir tradition into the prisons. But I have, matter of fact, the only time my mama ever wrote me was if something was online. I played with some guys in Rahway prison. She never wrote to me. And then this one time, she said, "Okay, you're doing something now. You know, you're doing something now." So yeah, definitely, I have played in the prison system, and it's something that I first did or was interested in doing in the 1980s. So we need more. I wish I could really get that spirituals project off the ground, because I think you would hear something and it would also be instructional on a certain level.
That's, I mean, as you were talking about before, you know, it's the community, the chorus of people, right? That's what it's all about, getting that all together. In
actuality, the lady that called me to start jazz at Lincoln Center, Alina Bloomgarden, now works with with an organization called Music on the Inside, and it's about music in the prison system. And I'm supposed to be working with her. I'm not doing a good job right now. Just we're so overwhelmed with stuff. But she's a community. She is so for real, and I love her. And I know they're doing fantastic work, and we need to do more, and I need to do more.
Well, that's an exciting project. That looks like that'll be on the horizon. Hopefully coming soon to continue that collaboration. And I saw another comment come in about talking about improvisation, people that are in the beginning of improv, and I see a lot of these comments actually. Any tips on how? And I know you said like on how to do improv. I know that's kind of a hard thing, but any tips or tricks?
The first thing is to accept that it's easy. That's number one. Okay, it is easy. It's like you want to learn a language. If you say, well, I want to learn how to speak French, well, learn 4 or 5 words first. That's not hard. Now, it's hard to be fluent, but it's not difficult to go through the slow steps of developing. Now, with music, it's even easier because let's just sing melodies and play them. Start with very simple songs. Play those songs and then add to them a note or two. Start with nursery rhymes and just add a note or two. And it could be anything. Mary had a little lamb. Row, row, row your boat. Mickey Mouse. I mean, and just the blues is always there for you to learn how to play. It's a form that's easy to hear. You can play a pentatonic scale on it. Bo bo do bo dee 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 dee. Bo do 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 dee 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 do. Now the thing about improvisation, you want to play it in the context of some type of rhythm. If it's in jazz, so you can put a metronome or anything. You can record yourself on your phone doing what I'm doing. And just play that and play on top of it. Learn the bass line of a blues and just play those root notes. Don, 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 ding, 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 don, bing, don, boom. And just play on top of it. You can sing that into your phone and play on top of that progression. Or you can get any of these apps that have rhythm sections and start playing. And I'm telling you, you will figure stuff out to play. But if you go the theoretical route and start learning all this complicated stuff, you'll never play. You will never learn how to play doing that. It's like you're not going to go to a baby and start teaching them what a gerund is. The noun goes here before the verb. Whatever. If they're babbling, you're saying, yeah, you know, you're talking to them. And when they figure out one word, oh, you know, they just said technology. You're going to make up some word the child said, and you're going to make a big deal out of it, and you're encouraging them every step of the way. You're not, whereas with this, sometimes with jazz improvisation, it's like you're taking people out of their ear space into their brain space. You don't want to be in your brain space because you'll never figure that out. You can't.
It's hard. I feel like it's stuck in there.
There's too much to process thinking about it. It's super thought. It's greater than thought. It's hearing, and hearing is close to instinct. You know how you see like the animals in the wild sometimes it's something, right? Well, the instinct is before they do that. The instinct is going down the that's what you play in. You play in a time that's before gestures. So as many times it's hard to explain what that time is.
It sounds like you'll learn to know that. You once, you know.
I was speaking with a friend of mine that had a brain injury. And just when we were talking, she's trying to figure out how to talk again. And it was the most fascinating thing, looking at her look for words. It was like playing. Because every time she was saying something, I was trying to anticipate what she would say, but she said, do not anticipate. That's part of the thing. Because you want to fill the end of a sentence up, don't fill the end of it up. Don't anticipate it. Stay on the edge of that thought. So you're looking and you're trying to feel the thought, the intention. You start to listen for different things than words. And the whole time I was just kind of following what she was saying and trying to, and then I thought, man, why is this something about this is satisfying, even though I know she's struggling to talk. And I didn't want her to stop. I was kept like, and then I realized, wow, it's like playing. Because when you're listening to people playing, you always, what's coming? What are they saying? You're always kind of you're on the edge of that moment, trying to, then once it's gone, that's it. You can't, you know.
That once that moment's that's wow. That's a really deep, beautiful.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things going on. Yeah, remember, it's not you're playing and everybody's playing. Whoever you're playing with, Carlos play something, and you know they're thinking of something too. Now then you listen, and that's the most fascinating thing about the music is the collective creativity when it's good.
And it's more than one person; it's everybody. You're right.
Yeah, especially when you have motion in the bass. When the bass is static, something that does something to make it less. I don't know what it is. It's just something about when the bass is static, you have one less moving voice. Like, cause it's interesting. And one of the drums and the bata drums, I need to call Pedrito and get my other lesson. I know I should know what the drum is. I don't know if it's the itotele or one of the drums is the slave. They call it the slave because it plays the same part over and over again. And I was thinking about when you play the same thing, it's hard too to have the discipline to play the same part. Don't get me wrong. Like the funkiest bass players always could just play the same bass line in a very simple way. It's not something easy to do. But once you lose that motion in the bottom for that type of playing that I'm talking about, it becomes very different.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was really the beautiful little piece of knowledge right there. I think that can really resonate with a lot of people tuning in. And I want to mention to everyone tuning in, thank you so much. We're going to wrap things up. It's about the end here. I want to thank everyone so much for tuning in. And as always, you can head to jazz.org. We have programming 7 days a week, virtually online. You don't have to leave your house for it. Education classes, streaming concerts from artists' home. We have full concerts that we're putting on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page. So check that out, and we hope you can join us. And Wynton, again, as always, my favorite day of the week, Wednesday. Thank you for coming on and talking.
Come on, man. It's good to see you, as always.
See you too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank y'all.
Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.
All right now. Take care.